Good morning, guys. So today I have already gotten up, done my workout, ate breakfast, all that good stuff. I ate Boyfriend's yummy burger thing he made yesterday. It was so good. And now I'm starting to make a mask. I'm gonna make masks for all of Boyfriend's family members and him, and I want to make us some matching masks too. But for him, I have to make it bigger because the one I made before, it fits my face like just perfectly. So I'm trying to make a bigger size one. I'm just winging it. I'm not using a pattern. I just kind of drew it out like a half the size, and then, or like the half part of it, and then I like flip it over and just do the two halves. So this one's a little bit bigger. I tried to make my size one a little bigger. So we're gonna try that and test it out and see if it works. Okay, so this is I'm kind of doing a tutorial, not exactly, but this is like a tutorial of my way of doing things, which is winging it with what you have and not actually following anything specific or any instructions, kind of using my knowledge from previous sewing projects. So this is how I do things. I'm kind of used to doing things this way because when you've grown up poor, you kind of get used to like winging it without having everything you need, and I think that's a pretty good talent I got in life. So I'm going to show you guys how I make a mask without following a pattern or a thing. So first I drew out the shape on paper. I might try to do a weird shaped mask. Maybe I'll do that next. Anyway, here I drew out the shape on paper, and now I'm just like tracing it using this gauze fabric that we bought at Olympic, a grocery store that was like selling some mask making stuff. They had like the elastic stuff and this like gauze stuff that you put on the inside of the mask. So I'm drawing on that, then I'm going to just, well, I'll show you the process as I go. And then here is just like a regular store-bought mask. I use that for the size reference because he said it fits his face perfectly. And then I also want to make them for his parents. So I don't know exactly what size their face is, so I think bigger is probably better to be on the safe side. Okay, then next I will fold it over like this as evenly as I can and then just pin through it so then I can just cut it out and have two of the same size and shape. Okay, so for the original pattern, I drew out the shape of the mask, then I kind of added a bit of the seam around the end. You're supposed to like measure and actually do like a measured seam of a certain amount, but I just winged it and just drew it the same around. I don't know if normal people can do that or that's just a special me talent. So if you can't do that, use a ruler and make sure it's the right size. But it doesn't really matter, I guess, so much for a small project like this. Okay, so next I'm going to probably lay this part out on the pretty fabric, the one that I'm going to have showing, and then trace around it. And somehow I'm going to make this line appear onto here. There's tools for that, but I don't have them. If you have those tools, this is easy for you. Alright, so I'm going to lay it as lined up with the selvage edge of the fabric as I can. I think that's a thing I learned you're supposed to do. I don't remember, but that's what I'm gonna do. And then I will do the same thing. I'll trace around it, flip over, and do like to cut it out two of them. And then I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. We're making this up as I go along. And Boyfriend is cooking, so he's being very loud. Okay, so this silky fabric moves a lot, and drawing a line using a colored pencil is turning out to not work very well. So I think I'm just going to pin it to this one, and then flip it over and get two layers of the purple fabric, and then just cut it out, and then do these lines, maybe actually measuring or using a ruler, or maybe I won't do the lines. I don't know. We're going to try different things and see what works. Okay, there we go. That looks like it'll work a little bit better. So now I'm going to pin the two purple layers to this one and then cut it out. Okay, so now you should have 4 pieces of fabric, 2 of the inner lining fabric and then 2 of the pretty fashion fabric. Ta-da! Okay, next up I'm pinning these two parts together, the inside mask. This part that goes like up against your nose is here, so you want to pin it, you're going to put it in the sewing machine like this way to sew this line. So pin it out this way or like this way so you can easily take out the pins as you're sewing and quickly-ish. Alright, here's what it should look like at this point. Make sure you stitch forward a little bit and then stitch backward a little bit and then stitch forward, because that like locks it in place better, and do that at the end of it too. This is very different than the ones I used to use in the costume shop at WVU when I was a student. So it's like my natural reaction is to reach for a foot pedal with my foot, but there is no foot pedal on here. You push this button to go, push it again to stop, and you can choose the speed here, how fast it goes. I've been going really slow just to be on the safe side. Don't know what your sewing machines look like. This is the first time I've ever had one like this. Plus it's in Japanese, and I don't know sewing words in Japanese. But so far, I've been able to use it pretty well. Okay, here's another little tip. When you have to lift up the foot, make sure the needle is in the fabric while you're doing it, to like, if you're going to adjust. If you're trying to turn, sometimes it's hard to turn. So I'll make sure the needle's in the fabric, lift up the foot, and then move it, because you don't want it to like shift and then the line won't be straight anymore. Then you can put the foot back down to continue sewing. Okay, so this part is finished. This inside part is the part that will go up against the face. So I tested the size on boyfriend's face and it seems to be okay. So this is the size minus the bit of seam that will fit well on his face at least. This part goes up against, this will be the inside of the face. And this part you won't be able to see because the fashion fabric will be over top. Now for the fashion fabric, it's a little bit, you got to be more careful when you're doing the same line on this one, because you have to make sure that the pretty part is on the inside, and you have to pin it like that. And I can't show you with this fabric because this one doesn't really have an inside and an outside. So I'm going to demonstrate with this one. Like this part's the obvious outside and this part is the obvious inside. You want the two pretty outside parts to be facing each other when you pin it, and then the outside part should look like this part. So when you pin it, make sure the pretty part's on the inside and you can't see it. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I'm all pinned, but I just remembered for this fabric I don't have a line to follow because I didn't draw one like I did on this one. So I'm going to try to like line this one up and like wing it with, okay, so get it like lined up as much as possible. Then where the stitching line is, I want to make a line on the purple. I'm probably just going to like lift it up lightly and like sketch a light little bit of a line along here. If you have chalk, that would be best, but I do not. So I'm going to try to do like a faint sort of line with like either pencil or a colored pencil along here, so I have a line to follow while I'm stitching. You guys can do this maybe a better way than that, but that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, that kind of worked. You can see that. So now I'm just going to go over it and make it a little bit more noticeable. Then I'm going to stitch it. Ta-da! Okay, that looks good. So next, this part you have to like open up, and this is the part that will be on the outside, so this part will be flipped inside out like this. So for this part, if you have an iron, that would be great because you can like flatten this out, but I'm not going to explain every like little detail because I don't know what I'm doing and I'm not doing it the right way. I'm doing it my way. So next, I'm probably going to cut this a little bit shorter and then snip slightly like lines like this, so that when you turn it inside out, it'll be able to like lay more flat. But be very careful not to cut the stitching, because that would be a problem. Okay, so I snipped a little bit off, and then you can see I cut a few little divot bits here, just so when I flip it inside out, it'll look more flat. Like, not do that. You want to not have that. So I might need to do a few more, but either way, a little bit of that is not too bad once you actually have it flattened out, or if you use an iron, which I could, but I'm not going to. Okay, so then next you want to pin the two top parts together, like so. You want the inside part here, and this part's outside. Wait, I need to think this through. Okay, I figured it out. So you want this part, the inside part, against the outside part. This part is the part that touches your face. This part's the part that will show on the outside. So you want to put these together and then pin them together like this and then stitch along here, because then you're going to flip this over and then it'll all make sense, probably. So, yeah, you got to pin these together. Try to pin the seams out flat. This is another spot where an iron would be great, but I'm lazy and I'm not going to use an iron. I'm just going to pin it, which is going to be like 10 times harder, but you guys can be smart and use an iron if you want to flatten out the seam here. And then this one too. So I'm just going to like pin it like buttloads of pins and then stitch along there. Then after that part's stitched, you can flip it, flip it, flip it, flip it, and you can also trim off some of the seam if you want. And then when you flip it, this is what it should look like. This part will be the outside and this part will be the inside. Then you're going to do the bottom next, which is difficult because well, draw the line on both sides if you didn't already, like a smart person. Draw a line on this side too so you know, and try to get it on this fabric too if you can. It's best to have them all because it's easiest to follow. But you're going to pin this one up pretty much the same way. You're going to try to flatten out these and put them against each other. And only, you're going to like flatten it and then flip it. Wait, how did I do that? I don't remember. Hang on, let me look at my other mask. Okay, yeah, so you're going to try to flip it, pin it. Alright, so yeah, you're going to flatten this, probably starting here. Flatten it, then flip it over, bend it over the line, and then pin it. And then pin them together. If you have an iron, this would be way better. I do have an iron, but I don't want to use it, so I'm going to do it hard way. But anyway, I'll show you guys, because what I'm saying doesn't make sense. Okay, this is a part where having lines on both sides is very helpful, so I'm trying to like trace it by looking through the fabric. This is going to be interesting to do on the purple one. Okay, since I have no idea how big the seam is supposed to be on the bottom of the purple one, because I didn't draw it in, I'm going to like fold this over the way it's supposed to be and line it up as much as possible, and then trace the line along here after it's all lined up using the line from the blue. There, like that. So then I'll just do a few little dashes and make it so that it's the same size as this one. Okay, so this is what I meant. This part's folded in and then I pinned it. You could just iron it. Then this part's folded in, then I pinned it. Then you're going to put these two together and lightly like pin it and then take out the pins, and then be careful, like pin it a lot, and then you're going to sew a line like as little teeny tiny line as possible at the bottom, like I did for this one. There we go. See how this side it's all pinned together like that, folded over. This side I haven't done yet. So I always start from the middle and go out, and then the other middle and then go out instead of from the end, so it ends up more even. Okay, now it's starting to look like a mask. This is how it should look at this point. So then next you're going to do the part that has the stretchy thing, elastic. So I got this elastic I got also from Olympic. They had like mask stuff, and this is like elastic made for masks. So I'm going to cut a little bit. I'm going to flip this inside the same way I kind of did this weird whole thing I did down here, and do that same kind of process. But I'm also going to pin in the elastic like I did here. So same flippy and pinning headache process that I made up. There we go. It's finished. Look at that. It looks so cool. He looks like a ninja when he's wearing it. And then here's what the back looks like. And I double stitched over these, almost triple stitched, just to make sure they're sturdy, because this part is the part that's going to have the most work. Yay. We made a big fire. It was really cool, and you didn't do it on camera. Man. No more fire. Here's one of the cool things about the Lightroom app. This is the after. You tap and hold before. After. This is so fun to play with. Using my hair clip as a bookmark. Actually, your mom gave me this hair clip. Mm-hmm. Boyfriend is maybe writing a song. Okay, here's how far I got so far. But I think I'm going to save the rest of it to do tomorrow because boyfriend actually has to work all day tomorrow. So I'm going to be at home alone, and also I think it's supposed to rain, so I'm probably not going to get any of my sun, and I am a plant and I need sun. So I will, maybe I'll do more today, or maybe I'll just save the rest to work on for tomorrow. Okay, I talked to my friend Joan for a while, and it was good, and now I am super tired, so I'm gonna end today's vlog now. See you guys tomorrow.